Hey, what's up? It's your boy Al7. That's right, I got a very special guest today. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and I'm gonna hype him up a little bit too in a hot second, alright? Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Brendon Carpenter. I'm an elected member of the board of Humanity First Movement, and I'm also the president of Humanity Forward Arizona.
Okay,
Glad to
so
be here.
awesome, my man. Just so you guys know, I do actually get to visit different organizations. I do a lot of work trying to dip over here, dip over there, like get political support for different things that I'm running. And actually, Yang Gang Arizona has really stood out to me as an organization that's kind of like done really well for itself within the Yang Gang organization, and they seem to kind of like have it together. And a large part of that is, Brendon Carpenter unmistakably has a strong presence within the organization. So I'm just, it's cool for us to kind of find out. A lot of people in the Yang Gang are new, but to find out what's allowed them to be successful as they've been successful and what challenges they've faced. So the first question I'm going to ask you today is, what's your personal background in activism itself?
Oh, thanks, Ed. Yeah, I've been a community organizer for going on 10 years here. I got my start as a Mormon missionary, sent me off to Brazil. So I was in like one of the most like third world areas of Brazil you could go to, mostly slums, little villages. And I used to be like hardcore libertarian, but I went through this experience where I realized there was a lot of human potential being wasted, and getting rid of government wasn't the answer. That we actually needed to provide a lot more help for people who were down on their luck. So that got me started in a career of community organizing. I've worked with several congressional candidates. I trained volunteers for the Bernie 2016 campaign, flew all over the country for that. Then after Trump won, I worked with the United Utah Party. It was a new third party in Utah that actually became the most successful third party in modern history. And I was appointed the Utah County chairman of the United Utah Party. So, I know how movement building works. They're still going strong up there. Really hoping, crossing my fingers for them. They actually started they had the slogan, not left, not right, but forward, before Andrew Yang. So it was pretty cool to move from them to work with the Andrew Yang campaign. And, I since then we started our nonprofit, 501c4. We have a good team here, formed departments. I can talk a little bit about why I think Arizona had a secret sauce there,
Okay.
if you'd like it.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah. But actually, I just want to
Okay.
beef up, talk a little bit more about your background, which is amazing, by the way. One thing that I've really heard from you in meetings that I really agree with is that experience does not equal expertise, which is something that I say as well. But you can see from the depth of his of your experience, right? When people just say like I have some management experience, I've worked on a campaign or a couple of campaigns, right? And they don't give any specifics. But you notice how he says that I was in the most successful third party, right? He concentrates on certain metrics over there. That's a good sign of someone who's a good manager and someone whose experience is relevant. Yeah. Also, the thing is that because I've seen right the things that the Asian Yang Gang and the placement they have within their organization from observing things, I can tell that this guy is the guy who's getting things done. So the experience should show in certain ways, and it does in the right ways for me. So I'm very happy to have him on my channel. I've been chasing him down as he knows, yeah, and I appreciate
Yeah,
your
I
time so much. Yeah.
appreciate you, Ed.
So now I'm going to ask you, right, how is the Asian, you started the Arizona Yang Gang chapter, which is a different thing. How is that founded and what are its current goals?
Yeah, so you can find out more, all of your listeners can, at humanityforwardaz.com. So we're aspiring to be an official chapter of Humanity Forward. They've addressed us as their chapter before, but it's still not legally official. We're getting really close to getting that partnership lined up. But before I was the regional organizer during the Yang 2020 campaign, and we set up departments. There were so many like independents and libertarians in our group
Right?
that like we were all like get it done kind of people.
Okay.
And so when problems came up, we were more likely to just try to solve them ourselves,
Right.
rather than reach out to national. And so that like we had a pattern, or I tried to teach people that you didn't need permission all the time. You could go and
Yeah.
like try to solve problems yourself. And I think I don't know. I think that stuck with people, and it's why our group is still together and working hard.
That's a great attitude, and honestly, I think that's one of the things that kind of like killed the Tulsi campaign. There should have been more of that type of attitude, and one of the things was that our organization, I don't know how much you can talk about it, but the thing is that Tulsi groups were discouraged from talking to people from other regions, right?
Hmm.
So we weren't able really to build that network out, right? I broke ranks and I did it anyways because I saw the importance in building a platform afterwards, but there was no national coordination. So the thing is that after the campaign was over, right, it was basically me like patching all the regions together, and that was it. So actually, I think that's a really good, strong lesson for a lot of people out there who are students of the game, Tulsi campaign, Yang Gang campaign, to understand, right, what makes these things powerful. And I really like that's also another thing that's a repeat by from with Jerry Perez, part of our Revolution LA, who's part of Movement for People's Party. People have been around the game for a while, tend to say similar things. This is one of the similar things they seem to say. Yeah, right. Also, they don't pay
Yeah.
attention to titles. Right. They know how to get things done. So I love that so much. Yeah. What are the current
Yeah.
goals of your organization? You said to make. Is it your goal to join HF? Is that really kind of like your end goal for your organization?
So Humanity Forward Arizona will be, we're already an incorporated 501c4, and
Okay.
so we'll work like legally as equal partners, but we're going to
Okay.
sign some agreements so that there is some hierarchy. Like we're not going to encroach on any of the national issues. We're going to stay
Okay.
focused on Arizona, and when they need our help on national stuff, then we'll go and help them out. So they're providing us a lot of autonomy and freedom,
Okay.
as long as it's within Arizona State, and I hope that continues. Yeah, and just a note, Ed, you talking about the Tulsi campaign. I've seen that behavior where people are on national campaigns, especially. There's sometimes an attempt to keep people siloed in
Yeah.
different areas, so that management can focus on the outcomes of
Yeah.
organizing rather than let people come up with their own ideas and their own systems.
Yeah.
And you can kind of understand why that's the case for like
I do.
presidential candidates,
I
because
do.
they have very little time. They need to keep people focused on reaching the voters to win those
Yeah.
primaries. But that's an election campaign. That's an election campaign strategy. That's not movement building. It's a completely different set of skills, techniques, and strategies that you need to use to build up a movement, raise consciousness of an idea, and then build capacity and then mobilize the people you have to accomplish some goal. So that's what we're hoping to do in Arizona, build up our capacity and then get some legislation passed, like our own UBI or ranked choice voting or whatever else.
That's very wise with the talk about the movement. Absolutely right, and that's what's going to keep it alive, keep keep it going. So, thank God, the Yang Gang is in is in. I see some good quality people on board. That makes me feel a lot more easier. Yeah, we really
It's
haven't
the
had time to really
revolution
talk
of
about this.
reason, man. Of course, it would draw in the the people who were the most on top of it. That's my theory.
Well, it's nice if reason can win. But a lot of times, like the control of the mass media, the control of the messaging, actually makes it so that unfortunately reason does not win. Yeah? But we are fighting that. We are
Yeah,
fighting that.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if you're more pessimistic than me. I feel like a pessimist a lot of the time.
Yep.
But you got to keep hope alive that it can change.
Okay. Yeah.
The mainstream media wasn't around forever. We can put them back in their
Yeah. Yeah.
grave, really,
Yeah.
if we
So
want
look,
to.
your qualifications are really awesome, dude. I love it. Yeah. But the thing is that recently you've been kind of like involved with this Yang Gang, Arizona thing. How has your perspective changed from when you started with working with them? Has any your experiences in leadership or working with Humanity Forward, like the national versus regional, any perspective changes?
Yeah. So specifically about Humanity Forward, I will say that they were running during the campaign. They really had a Hail Mary strategy, so they knew that it was a longer than long shot. This random guy from the internet. What they had to do is they had to like have a surprise finish in Iowa, New Hampshire, kind of create like a media spectacle out of that, and then grow fast enough for every single primary after in order
Right.
to build a wave and then win at the convention. And that strategy is been used to great success by Jimmy Carter and some other
Right.
Democratic presidential candidates. So it's a legitimate strategy.
Yeah.
But what that ended up doing is focusing them completely on Iowa. And so they were just like shoveling money into Iowa, into TV ads, and everything else was just like it had to wait until Iowa was over. But, unfortunately, because of the primary, a lot of Democrats, they were so scared of Trump, they felt like they had to pick the safe pick. The mainstream media kind of screwed Yang. All these extra barriers made it so that that moment, that shock the world moment, never happened.
I do
Um,
question that strategy, though. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's I'm not going to hate against that strategy. I mean, yeah, it's time proven, whatever. But you can
yeah,
see that the way that a lot of corporate people act, the way a lot of intellectuals act, is they don't come with bold new ideas that will break the status quo. A lot of times they're just recycling stuff from the 70s, 80s. Look,
yeah,
we're in an age of internet and communication. Our strength of Yang Gang is the technical expertise and taking over new formats and defining new things. So to keep following the old style because yeah they have that degree whatever, or because they know the old ways or had past successes, isn't really a true market of ideas which allows new ideas to prevail. Yeah. So
Oh,
you know
absolutely,
yeah
Ed. You're totally on it. Like in the age of the internet, there a movement needs to have more communication so the best ideas flow
yeah
up to the top. And people were suggesting other strategies, by the way, to the Yang 2020 campaign
right.
that didn't involve focusing all on Iowa. But there was a barrier there for communication, and the clock ran out for us to change the
And
course.
sometimes
But
it's the consultants getting in the way because they don't want you lowly volunteers causing them issues or problems. You know what I mean? And they can't become this little isolated little bubble, which unfortunately like hurts the overall movement. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like Yang Gang got a reputation early on for potentially like harboring alt-right people, like or sexist people. And like I'm in Arizona, so this is like the state with alt-right people.
Yeah.
And I never met or had a single conversation with someone who identified as alt-right that came into the Yang Gang. But I think that created fear in the national campaign that
Yeah.
some of the volunteers could be infiltrating everything. And so, they were covering their asses for a short term strategy. It makes sense. And I will say that the people who are running Humanity Forward now are not the same people who are running the Yang 2020 campaign. I mean, Zach Grauman's there, Andrew Yang is there,
Yeah.
Erica McLeod, some people, but it's being run completely differently. And
The
from
truly
what I've
committed will
seen,
stay, right? The ones who want the money or who want the thing, they left. You know what I mean?
there you
Yeah,
go.
exactly. So we know the deal.
only the
We know the deal.
loyal, only the
We know
super
the deal.
loyal are left. And
Yeah.
I, I've seen a lot of good things. It's not perfect.
So
There's
if you could
mistakes
go,
being made,
if
but
you going
it's
back to the
progress.
perspective question, right? If you could go back, knowing now what you knew back then, what would you tell, just before you started the Arizona Yang Gang thing, right? What would you tell old Brendon Carpenter?
Oh man, I as much as like we're kind of like the go get it done people, I feel like in the Yang Gang here in Arizona, I do think that we expected too much of Humanity Forward. Like in our minds, Andrew Yang is just like working all the time. He's like a genius. He's just doing 80-hour weeks. Zach Grauman, he's there just like fiery for the cause. The truth is, after like almost 3 years of campaigning, they were burnt out and they needed to go on vacations and recoup and all that. And so we were fired up, but they weren't exactly. So I would have focused on my local organizing from April on and just waited. I would have waited for Humanity 4 to catch up. They have a lot more going on their end. And the thing is you got to do the local organizing while you have supporters and keep them plugged in, right? If
Yeah.
you don't contact people in your community for months on end, of course they're going to say, oh well, no one cares for me in this movement, like why should I stick around? So
Yeah.
I wish I had just focused on keeping my supporters happy and feeling connected and to get their insight.
What a great behind the scenes look. Honestly, I have to say straight up, not just kissing your ass, you know what I mean, because you look good, whatever, just, you know what I mean, whatever. I'm just saying straight up, honestly, that this is honestly one of the smartest interviews that we've had on this channel yet. So thank you so much. We'll continue on, yeah? So let's take a look. What do you think? This is really important for all of us activists out there. We want to be effective. What do you think were the most productive activities for your organization?
Well, I think creating that basic structure for having leadership and then departments, it helps you do so much more because people can specialize in what they're good at.
Yeah.
And, there's some leadership styles that the leaders just want to do everything important by themselves.
Right.
And then they end up just slowing themselves down. So I think organizing and getting like departments and getting like titles out, it's really understated how useful that is. I know
I get that too. It's like titles. It's a mix. Yeah, I'm okay with them. You know what I mean? Like actually, I give out titles as necessary. Like when I talk to my people working with me, right? They like, yo, like, they say, who am I? I say whoever you need to get the job done. You're the VP. You're the manager of operations. You know what I mean? This is very important. Say whatever you need to do. Get us what are we looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. The title is just a tool.
But I like that. Yeah.
But divide labor and come up with a plan where
exactly
everyone's
because
something else.
One person alone, right? You might be someone who's of high potential. Yeah. And you might say to yourself, I want to be all I can be, and that's cool. But you can exceed your potential by working with a team. One person can build a home, a team can build a skyscraper. You know what I mean? So exactly, we can go so much higher. You're absolutely right.
I love those metaphors. My favorite one is the most fearsome weapon of the wolf is not his teeth or his claws, it's the pack. So
cool, man. All right, I could dig that. All right. I want to ask you about the how does your organization make decisions? There's a lot of different, leadership styles. How does Arizona Yang Gang, how did you guys decide to put that together?
Yeah, so in Humanity Forward Arizona, we have some bylaws that we established after coming together in a convention. We had a charter convention, so everyone who was associated got a chance to put in their input, and we created a bunch of rules and bylaws and rights.
Cool.
You can check that out on our website. But yeah, right now we have a board, so it's the head of each department, and then myself and my vice president, Ron Russell, and we have we expect a majority vote for every decision that the board makes.
Is there?
And then within the department,
are these board positions elected? Are these president and vice president positions elected?
Yeah, they are elected.
Okay.
We didn't actually have the capacity to run an election this year, but we received a confirming vote. And so our hope is that next year we'll have candidates run for each of these positions.
Do you have like a quorum?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? What is it?
A quorum would be
like
4 people.
Okay,
yeah.
That's cool. Okay.
So usually we don't try to just vote with just a quorum. We try to get everyone together. The more people you leave out of those kind of decisions, the more you piss them off.
I get that.
But we aspire to being democratic, and I'm a big believer that if you have democratic norms in an organization, it works a lot more efficiently.
I agree.
People will feel incentivized to
I totally agree. Yeah.
Because they think that even if they don't like something they see, they think, oh, I can change it later on.
Actually, quorums are one thing that's meant to actually protect, right, to a certain extent, exactly what you're talking about. So I agree, and that's why I asked about it, because I also understand it's an important thing, because you will have people just showing up with 2 or 3 people trying to change the whole thing overnight, especially in these smaller organizations, people who kind of like been around the game. They know how to play these games, you know what I mean? So, yeah, protect yourself with the quorum, you know what I mean? At least minimum, you know what I mean? And ideally, you're going more than that. Ideally, that's the absolute minimum, though. You set your bar. So 4 people, maybe sometimes it's sometimes it's 2/3, sometimes it's low as 1/3. I've seen like lower than 1/3 even. Like that's not ideal. But sometimes people have problems getting the membership to attend meetings, stuff like that. So they gotta make these changes. Interesting. Yeah, and hopefully we can do some fundraising and pay some of our people, so there's even more of an incentive to be involved. Okay.
So that's the next critical step we need to start on.
One thing that I get really frustrated is sitting in a bunch of meetings that take like mad long. Maybe your organization Yang Gang is all about technology. Are you guys using maybe, some type of maybe like online documentation to try to help people like catch up to meetings faster, or so they can get to materials, shared folders, so they can share information? Like, this is the current project we're working on. Here's some research papers you guys could look at. This is some other things I've been looking at. You know what I mean? And maybe here's a
Yeah.
documentation trail. Yeah?
Well, to be honest, I really don't think that technology is what gives us an edge. I mean, we
Okay.
use a Google Drive, we use Trello, Facebook, all the social media. We have a Discord. So everything that is freeware that's out there, we're already using it. I really think it's the culture of our organization where, we didn't have a majority Democrats, or we didn't have a majority of Republicans in our group. We were majority independent, and we could always, like, we didn't make identity a big thing ever during the Yang
That's
2020
good.
campaign. It
That's
was like,
good.
you're Yang Gang and that's it. We don't want to know where you came from before that. And so I think creating that culture of where it's okay to bring up ideas and challenge a leadership and like set a new course was something okay to do and encouraged. That's really what gave us our edge in how
Cool.
effective we were.
I have to say that's true. I having a great time with the Yang Gang. I love these guys. Yeah. So next question is going to be, what do you think are the most common misconceptions about Arizona Yang Gang?
Um, well, probably the biggest misconception is that we were successful in incorporating and getting the media presence we have and all that because of our size, which is totally not true. We are much smaller than some of these other Yang Gangs, like you guys in New York. I've heard from Paige you have thousands of members. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish I had that kind of army to play with. But no, our group is very organized. We're really tight, but we're small. We're in the hundreds of people supporting us, and we see ourselves as kind of street fighters,
Hell
street
yeah.
activists. So that's I think that different perspective of being like, hey, we're here to raise awareness. We're gonna let our Yang Gang flag fly. We're not gonna try to play by the rules of the two big parties. I think that was a great strength for us. But it should. I'm hoping it inspires other states to get as organized as we are and just like leapfrog us. You have
Yeah.
all you bigger states have the capacity to do it. You just got to set your mind to
Oh damn, he's calling us out, New York. New York, are you guys watching this? He's damn right. He's right.
it.
He's right. Yeah. Come on, New
We,
York,
we,
you got me
we
on the team
organize with
now. You got me on the team, New York. No more losing.
triple
Arizona's, yeah.
digit degrees over here. We're sweating our asses off, but
Yo, you guys
let's
doing it.
get
I
to it.
can't lie. Holy, yo, you calling us out. You right, though. I can't even hate. I can't hate. You right. Damn. Yo, New York, we got to turn it up. Oh, man, I can't take
You can do
this.
it. You
Oh,
can do
man,
it.
this is tough. All right, hold up. What,
I
what,
want you to.
okay, well, this next question comes in handy at the right time. What do you think are the biggest obstacle to your organization's success?
At this point, it's
You can't say it's the heat no more. You can't say it's the small numbers no
no,
more because you said all that. So what's the biggest
yeah,
obstacle right there?
exactly.
Yeah, so now what?
Now, I think, to be honest, the Arizona isn't a state that I think we have like a lot of very wealthy supporters or donors. We do have
Okay.
some that have been extremely generous, and we wouldn't be here without them. But really, we're in a financial situation where if we want to expand and perform like we want to, and implement some projects that we think would be just game
I got 10
changers
bucks coming your
for
way.
the movement.
I could put that on the website. What's that website again?
It's humanityforwardaz.com.
Okay, there'll be a $10 at the end of this video going in, and I want the rest of y'all to
Oh,
do that,
sweet.
okay? That's how we do up in here. That's how we do.
Yeah.
All right.
So I appreciate that. We actually aren't, unfortunately, fundraising at this point. We
I am. Don't worry about it.
Our credit union that we opened up an account with flagged our account. So we're kind of locked up in that process. It's like it was easy to incorporate, but it was hard to get the bank account. I guess every state's different. We're gonna get that off the ground very soon and start a fundraising drive. So I'll let you know when that happens.
Cool.
But yeah, that's why we're really hoping to sign some papers with Humanity Forward, become an official chapter, so that we can get some funding streams and work according to the vision we have. Which you can't keep all of your staff unpaid and
Yeah,
expect
yeah. Yo, that's
really good
true.
work. So
Yeah, New York got deep pockets. You know what I mean? Come on, y'all. You know what I mean? Arizona be repping the team hard. You guys gotta represent and take care of our
oh,
take care
we
of
got
them how
some
they take care of us. Yeah.
we got some awesome ideas where humanity hubs, building tiny homes for people that they can rent out and they can pay for their tiny home by volunteering on phone banking and other things. We're developing an app that will help with volunteer organizing, but we just need some more money. So
That's what honestly,
we'll
I'm
get
so
to it.
excited to hear about that. I would like to cover more of those issues in depth. If you have people from their working groups, I'll talk to them and we'll set up interviews to get some
That'd be
shine
sweet.
for their particular stuff. That's amazing. So,
Let's do it.
what's your thoughts about the current situation? It's a broad question. You could talk about anything, right? Politics,
Yeah.
economy, anything. What's your take on the current situation?
Well, yeah, just so you know a little bit about me, Ed, and your viewers too, is, when I used to be Mormon, I was raised to think that we were in the last days, like when Obama was elected and
Mm-hmm.
the recession happened. Like my family, like we were like, it's on, like there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be civil war, economic destruction, like this is the end times. And even though I'm no longer Mormon, I find myself circling back to those same thoughts of where it really seems like from these wildfires, climate change, Russia and China and the oligarchy, all these different problems, it feels like we are on the edge of absolute catastrophe. And I like when I say that, I know that there's people out there that are like, okay, you've gotten a little disconnected from reality. But think about the mainstream media constantly encouraging people to have hope in Trump or Biden or anything else to save us. There's a real there's market forces out there that are encouraging people to think that it's going to be okay. And scientifically, we know that with climate change, it's it's going to get harder and harder out there. There's going to be more weather disasters. There's going to be more climate refugees. There's going to be food insecurity. There's all these things that are piling up. And so when we get to the looking ahead towards November, uh, either Biden or Trump is going to win that. I think that we can say that with complete confidence. And neither of them are going to be able to solve these problems fast enough to prevent worse
Yeah.
misery and chaos. So it's coming. The storm is already started, but it's going to get worse. And so my hope is that we build up resilience as a movement that can depend on itself, that can weather the storm and just grow and grow as people become disaffected with the institutions that were supposed to save them. They're going to be looking for a hero, and Andrew Yang and Humanity Forward, I believe, can be that group of freedom fighters that really have their heads
You're
screwed on
definitely
and
one of
are
the
willing to
heroes that
make
I'm
big
choosing. You're definitely one of the
you
heroes that
know
I'm choosing. Yeah. You. Yeah.
oh, thanks, man.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
you too,
Also,
dude.
just so you know too, I actually grew up in Seventh Day Adventism, so the end times
Oh,
being
cool.
near is also similar to me. I also am familiar somewhat with Mormons, and I know what it is to walk away from Mormon openly. Yeah, and I know that's a tough decision to make, and that's something I give. Not a lot of people will understand. Not saying that I completely understand,
Yeah.
but I know that it's a big sacrifice. So and
Yeah,
a
and
radical change in life to
shout out
respect.
to all the
Yeah.
Mormons out there and my Mormon family. Great people, great
Yeah.
religion. Still very close to a lot of them. I still believe in a lot of the values, but I guess it taught me early on when in my 20s that you have to challenge things that are being presented to you. You can't trust immediately everything that someone tells you. You got to do your own research, and the more you dig, unfortunately, the more lies you find out there. And
Okay.
I think it's time for the truth tellers to come out and get to work. We don't have much time left, so that's what I'm focused on in the next
Yeah.
few years is just building up that movement so that no matter what happens, I don't know if Trump's going to crack down on democracy, if Biden's going to pull us into a war, whatever. We got to make these connections, organize, and get ready.
Yeah. So look, there might be other political organizations in your area. Arizona this, like, Progressive Party, or like, maybe Arizona like Independence, whatever, right? What makes your organization unique against other organizations that may seem superficially similar?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Well, first of all, we follow all of the humanity first values that I'm sure you know. Hopefully, you can include a link on that, as well as our own values that we decided on as a group for Humanity Forward Arizona. Um, and so one of them is not left, not right, but forward. And so we have this vision that Humanity Forward Arizona and Humanity Forward in general can work with any party and advance the issues that are important to us, like ranked choice voting, campaign finance reform, and UBI, of course. Like these are bipartisan issues with lots of support. And so we need allies everywhere. And
Yeah.
so I would just invite any other organization, whatever issue you're working on, if it's pro-human, we're interested in helping you out on it. So we hope to become that glue between a bunch of different organizations that can come together in a coalition and pass legislation that helps us all.
That's actually, interesting, because that was actually my vision for Yang Gang. Is actually kind of like my backup as in terms of building that coalition. I was hoping to assemble that coalition within the MPP. You know what I mean? But I think that Yang
Yep.
Gang's got a solid chance at it. But the thing is that because Yang Gang's association with Democrats and things like that, I like MPP because they had like a certain amount of clean slate going on, where Republicans and Libertarians could join in without having those second thoughts about I'm changing to Democrat or something like that. But I think the Democrats also, I'm very hip to their usual like environmental sensitivity sometimes. Sometimes, yeah. Okay.
Hey, Joe Biden, he said 1.7 trillion is going to invest in clean energy.
Let's
Let's hope he follows through on that.
let's see what happens. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. I wonder how many billion-dollar contracts go into his sons on boards and stuff. We don't know, right? Yeah,
You know.
yeah. But don't want to hate either. Yeah, hope he does the right thing. I'll back him up if he gives Yang Gang a little bit more. I'm ready to go for you, Biden, but you got to do something more for us. Putting Camel's VP is not, maybe like Andrew Yang on a council. Make him cabinet, dude. Like I will be like, okay, maybe I'll take you serious. I'll be like, yeah, I might even campaign for you, man. But give us something real, man. Not Kamala Harris's VP, man. Okay. All right.
I'm hoping to see it too, Ed. And
Yeah.
hey, just shout out to the MPP. They were super helpful with some of our cash relief protests that we put together.
Cool.
I got to meet some of
So
the
I'd like to
leadership
hear.
here in Arizona,
I'd like to hear.
and I think there's so much similarity between
Yeah.
our movements.
Exactly.
The
That's
issue
yeah.
is really that they disagree. They think that the People's Party can become a viable alternative, and
I
then
believe
there's
that
some
as well.
people who say that, yeah, I have high hopes, really.
Yeah.
But then there's other people who say that the system is so rigged, the
Let's do
duopoly has
both.
so much
I do
control.
both. I do both. I do
That's
both.
what.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
You
I
gotta
do
have
both.
people on both sides of the walls there to really
Exactly.
storm the castle. That's my opinion.
So look, I know Arizona Yang Gang super interesting. You should share the website, stuff like that. Yeah, they have like the Twitter and they have all the thing. What about you personally? People probably want to follow you. Like you're definitely an interesting character. Like I said, one of the smartest, most intelligent interviews we have on the channel yet. I'm super excited about this. It's definitely a guy to follow. Do you have your own Twitter, Instagram for people to follow, stuff like that?
Yeah,
Facebook,
It's
YouTube. Go
it's
ahead.
it's not the coolest handle, but it's at Brendon Carpenter 4. You can
Okay.
find me there. And yeah, you can follow my personal YouTube channel. It doesn't have much there at Yangonomics. It's also my Reddit handle, so you
Okay.
know.
I guess I'll
Find
finish.
me.
I guess I'll finish up with what are your plans for the future? What do you got going? What's up?
For me, some people know this, but just so you know, in your audience, my fiance is entering a new residency program for radiology in UCLA Harbor. So I'm going to be moving to LA in April, and
Ooh,
it's my
damn.
hope that I can bring some of the experience and what the learnings that we've had here in Arizona to California and help them get organized and do some more community organizing there. So I really hope to continue helping the national movement after I'm done here in
Yo,
Arizona.
LA's a lot of hot business going on there. There's a lot of national politics,
I
all
know.
kinds of business. Yeah, you're gonna have a field day over there, man. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah.
I think LA's coming up. What's going on with LA Yang Gang? Oh my goodness! Wow, I don't have a lot of time. I better get things going over here. Brendon gonna make me look like a noob. Oh my God, yo! Much love, power out
work,
to you.
Ed. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Love to.
All right, I'll see you on the next one. All right, I love that, man. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks again for coming through the interview.
Thanks
God
for
bless.
having me, Ed.
All right, peace.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
The truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the
beyond
major
doubt.
platforms. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute Daily Motion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get it with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you could hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.